Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hungry Bleak Show. I'm not going to rub my hands together, even though my hands are well moisturized. You already know how I feel about body yogurt and body butter. For some reason, my mic is extremely sensitive, like it's from NASA. When I rub my hands together, it sounds like I'm trying to start a fire. I promise you, my hands are moist. They're soft, they're good, they're great. I'm moisturized. It's getting colder. I promise you, they're not going to start a fire. It's not going to be a weird thing. Please. So, how are you? How was your week? Did did you take care of that thing you had to take care of? Okay, great. How are the loved ones? They're always doing stuff like that, aren't they? They are, right? Exactly. How was work? I know. But you're doing what you got to do so you can do what you want to do, right? Exactly. Did you drink water? Perfect. Okay. Now that we've caught up, it's always great talking to you guys. I love it. You know that. But let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? How old am I where I just said let's get down to brass tacks? That's almost embarrassing. Anyway, so everyone I've had on so far this season has been amazing, great, loved it, and it's been a lot of Kickstarters because you know how I am. I love talking about Kickstarters. I love telling you all about Kickstarters when there even isn't someone here. But I love people having people on here to talk about the Kickstarters and just to let you know that there's so many things out there as far as different comics and books and events and everything that you can find on Kickstarter. But you know my focus is going to be on the comics. So you also know that I do like some stuff for Dedrin Sneed of Subsume. Yes, our very own Time Lord. This dude is all over. I think instead of it being a little blue box, I think his TARDIS is his hat. Don't tell anybody. I think it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. I'm just saying. If you see old pictures and you see Dedrin there, I'm telling you, it's Time Lord. I'm just saying. So he's got this amazing company, Subsume, and they've got so many things going on, and they've got a brand new Kickstarter out for the Raven Code. And I'm lucky enough to have the writer and creator of the Raven Code here. Folks, I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to give it right to you. Folks, this is Allison Chaney.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much for being on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am doing well. Wonderful autumn day. Well, you all know that the show is pre-recorded, so today is a beautiful autumn day. I don't know how the day is going to be when you actually see this, but I hope it's great weather and you're having fun. So, Allison, you have this incredible Kickstarter coming on right now for the Raven Code. But for people who may not be familiar with your work and everything that you've done, can you give us a brief history on how you got into writing and how you got into comics?
I've been writing since I was a little kid. I would say that sparked when I was in elementary school and my school was a little creative. So we had a lot of plays beyond the general spring play.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would write a lot of skits and have my friends perform. And we had an assignment once where we had to do a commercial. And so I wrote a Sizzler commercial. We put it together. We filmed everything. It was fantastic. It was so much fun.
Wow.
So I kind of got into writing for video and film and the visual arts sort of thing when I was around 9 or 10, just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward to probably right out of high school, I tried to write a movie. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no connections. I wrote it in a composition notebook, pink one. And then fast forward, I became a teacher for a bit. I was a teacher for 8 years. And then I decided to go back to grad school again and study writing because I thought, hey, why don't I teach writing? I love writing. But I ended up wanting to do it myself. So here I am.
That's awesome and quite a great journey too to start that young doing it. I mean, and it wasn't just a thing for you to do, it was more of a passion for you, it sounds like. Something that you felt like you
Mhm.
had to do.
Yeah, agree.
Oh, awesome. So what got you into comics with your writing?
This one's interesting. I am actually mainly a screenwriter, or at least
Hmm.
that's the place where I try to move ahead, and I'm in that industry in that space. I was at an event about 6 years ago, and I met a producer, and he was doing a movie on like the barge or something. It's really cool. And so he had a comic that he was trying to get off the ground, and I was just sharing it. It was really cool. We followed each other on Facebook. And I would say maybe a year later, I had a young adult fantasy novel actually come out. And he saw that and he asked me, along with some other women of color, I think it was Black women actually in particular. I can't remember if that's accurate, to write a chapter in his graphic novel about a monster hunter. And I was like, what? Like a Black woman monster hunter. I was just, yes, please.
Hmm.
Got to do that. I had to like kind of like audition and do all that. And I ended up asking a friend who, well, he wasn't a friend yet. He's a friend now. Who I was hiring to work on a web series. He was kind of like staffing that up. And I interviewed him and he told me he did comics. He ended up connecting me with his publisher. And then I pitched all of my ideas. I like dreamed of being in a comic book, even though I was focused on screenwriting. And he picked one, which was Love University. And so Love University came out. I've been working with my same art team on multiple projects since then, on different with different publishers, and the rest is history.
Outstanding. I love that, and I love that you say that you've worked with your art team on multiple things. So it's nice to have like that relationship where you all kind of know each other to the point where some things don't even have to be said. You're like, oh, I was thinking of, yeah, I got that already. It's like
Mhm.
I love hearing that, like that type of chemistry and that type of bond with creatives. I love that. Now, the Raven Code. What can you tell us about this? I got to read, I think months ago, actually, Dedrin asked me what I thought, and I read it, and I was like, "Ooh, this is yeah, all right, yeah, like this is pretty cool." And I love the idea of first off Poe. I mean, the Raven. One of my favorite things is Nevermore. I just love that word in general. And I credit that to Poe, honestly. Before I even knew what it really meant, like I was just saying, I was like, that just sounds right. And thank you also, Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, for even making it even more so for me, which I have to actually watch all of those because I haven't watched The Simpsons in probably 20 years. Um, but can you tell us more about the Raven Code and what's it about?
Okay, well, it's very simply a supernatural mystery story with, I would say, family is actually at the heart of it. But it is about a young code breaking woman. Her name is Paul Lockwood, and she's actually has a connection to Edgar Allan Poe in a way that you will find out if you read the whole
Hmm.
series. Um, she and her ex-boyfriend, who's a cop, and his very inquisitive Poe enthusiast niece, you'll see her right there. Yes, she looks like Wednesday Adams. I made her up 5 years ago. She's obsessed with Wednesday Adams, but also Edgar Allan Poe. Anyway, so she's really inquisitive and she's also supernatural and she is very much involved in trying to break this Edgar Allan Poe themed curse. So that's what they're all doing. They're basically trying to put the genie back in the bottle because it's their fault that the curse was released. Now, Ridian, he's the spooky Mulder. He believes in all of it. Poe, Lockwood, doesn't believe in any of it. She's the Scully, the skeptic, but she's really good at what she does, code breaking and things like that. Her father was also big into the curse, and he gets harmed at the beginning, and so this what sets her off on, okay, I'm going to give in. I'm going to figure this out. The curse is unleashed. She starts to become a believer. It's kind of like that journey. And
Hmm.
then little Addie, she's connected to it in a spiritual way. So she's just literally everything in her life is to do with this curse. She dug that up in her family yard. They live at the Tamerlane Inn. Her mom's the proprietor of that inn. And so Edgar Allan Poe's box was buried in the backyard and she found it finally. So like that's the catalyst of how it starts to the curse starts to come back because she's being like, oh, I need to find this, as like a kid.
Hmm.
So It's 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 so much fun. I really love it. I love the characters. I've been with it for 5 years. It started off as a TV pilot,
Oh.
and it is now a graphic novel. And we wrote this about. We did this. I wrote it, and the artist took this on about 3 years ago.
Hmm.
So
Now
they
that you
really had.
say, oh, no, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I could definitely see the now that you say like a TV. I'm like, yeah, I definitely can see that feel and that like it being a part of that world. Like I could definitely see this premiering on a November evening. Like it just feels right, especially for this time of year. This feels like
Mhm.
such a story that I would like just to Friday night, turn off the TV, get my hot cup of whatever, sit on the couch and just read this and just get into it so much that by the time like I'm there, I realize that I finished it. I'm like, oh wow, damn! Like that's the type of feel I get. Or if I was to watch this put on maybe years ago when it was Fox on a Friday night, right after I watch
Mhm.
Millennium, and this comes on.
Yes.
I love that feel. So thank you for saying that it's what that it was going to be for TV, and it there's not a chance. I mean, there's not a way to say that it won't be on TV, but it's starting out here.
That's true. Someone asked me
Mhm.
about it today, so you never know.
There you go. I love that Poe is that you explicitly say that she's Afro Latina. Um, as being Afro Latinx myself, I love seeing that representation and inclusion in stories of people that you don't see very much in these types of stories in horror, supernatural, or even like code breaking stories. Either so much where there's some type of mystery or puzzle. So I love that you put that in there with one of your lead characters.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm,
I think it's really important as well.
mm.
A
What
lot of my
was
characters are unexpected like that.
yes are the others, as I always like to say, the ones who I will always I'll always try to read stories that either that I'm represented in or that stories of people that I identify differently than because I want to see them win also. I want to see them
Right.
vanquish the monster or get the person that they're vying for, win the race or become the pilot or whatever their journey is for that story.
Right.
Yeah.
And the fun thing about her is that she has a very rich, unique, mixed background, and she's connected to a lot within the story because of that background, which I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of my work has to do with legacy.
Mm.
So you'll see, maybe not in the first issue as much as in the next one, but it's there. It's important. It's not just there. It's not arbitrarily chosen.
Right.
Um,
There's a reason for
so
everything, which is
I find it's just fun
yeah, that
being a
well
big nerd about it.
well those are the sometimes like but being such a big nerd or geek about something can make the storytelling even better and you just create this even bigger world.
Mhm.
And it's not like something and like you said, it's just not thrown in there for for giggles. Like there's a reason, there's a point. You might not find it out now, but you leave in little breadcrumbs and you find out then you go, oh, that's those are the best stories.
Yes,
Those are ones
yes,
that really
so much
bring you
fun.
in. uh so with this story, like I said, I got to read a little bit of it and I was very interested in the story and in the characters and everything. Like I said, it made me feel like it was that Friday night, autumn, and I'm here reading or watching this. What was, why did you go with, I mean, and this is very on the nose, what was the influence of Edgar Allan Poe for this story?
It's interesting. I think I was probably chatting with some friends
Mhm.
online, maybe. I think one of my friends, Dan, he was talking about writing a novel. I think he was writing his first novel.
Hmm.
And I don't know, it was just really I'm always trying to like support my friends in their work. And it was one of his first works, and he's a lot younger than me. So I was kind of like, go Dan. Something that night made me start thinking about novels again because I've been writing a lot of screenplays. And so I started trying to think, what would I want to write about? And then I walked into the next room and I found this complete works of Poe sitting there. This one, it was just sitting there. And I was like, what if there was a girl named Poe? And then I started making this whole thing about this curse and her having to reverse it. Now, I typically write YA, so at first it was a teenage girl.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I just let it sit there. And then probably about a month or two later, my cousin, who's an English teacher, and I was one too, but she's like a veteran, you know.
Mm.
Um, she's done it her whole career. She's in her 50s. She was over and we were talking about the idea. And then I started turning it into the TV show concept because we like to talk about film and TV more. Even though she teaches lit and she teaches Poe, and I've taught Poe. And my dad loved Poe and my mom loved it. So, we kind of talked about that whole thing, and it ended up becoming the concept that it is now. And then I went off and wrote the pilot, and then the pilot for me, I felt it was a really good calling card script. Really good script, but I wanted to see it. And so I'd done some work with my artists and I was like, I want to see this. Do you guys want to try to do this project? And so that's how it came to life because I just couldn't just let it just keep sitting there in a TV pilot script that wasn't being made yet, even though it might be. I just wanted to, have it out there. So
I mean, you can't go wrong with Edgar Allan Poe for anything, I would say, pretty much. Um, and just having that influence is just really
yeah.
cool. Now, your art team is like a heavy hitters. Like, I was reading names, I was like, I've read like work that's had, I think, just about everyone in it. And I was like, I love seeing people's names and going, oh, yeah, I read that because, yeah, there. And, oh, you working this, you working that. I'm like, and I start like seeing their names. I go, I love seeing that, like seeing person's name over and over again and stuff that I've read, whether it's their artwork or whether it's someone who's an editor or letterer, excuse me, artist, colorist, or writer. I love seeing that so much.
Yeah. My artists are awesome. They've done a lot and they're doing just going up and up and up. So I'm very proud of them.
Yeah,
Corolla, yeah, um it's funny because I did not know that she had worked on this comic Destiny New York, and originally that was the name of the town in this story. And so I changed it to Harmony because she'd worked on that comic. And so I was like, okay, I don't want people accusing her. But yeah, so she's doing really well. She got to do recently, I think she was at New York Comic Con when you were there. Um,
oh,
the an X-Men comic with Rogue and Gambit, and she loves them. So I was just really
oh,
yay, happy with her. Happy for her with that one. And then Agnisa, um, the colorist.
yes.
I often work with her in her boyfriend, Roberto. He's a letterer, but not on this one. But she and Roberto have a new comic that they've just done. I have to get the name. I feel like I slept on that, but I'm really proud that they've done their own thing too. They work really hard and they work for a lot of people. So I'm really proud of them. And Agnesa and Corolla work together really, really well.
Oh, awesome.
And then Seda, I haven't worked with her yet. But she's new on the project and Dedrin brought her in, and I'm really excited to work with her because female team.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about that too.
I've read a lot of work with her name on it. That's what when I saw her name, like that was one of the names I knew right off the bat. I was like, oh yeah, definitely. I believe a lot of there were a few of the Catalyst Prime books. I'm trying to remember which title it was exactly. That's where I was introduced to her work as a I think
Yeah,
she
it's
either
pretty
did the
exciting.
color artist or letter, and I was like, oh cool, bet. And this guy here, this guy,
Yes. It's kind of like girl, but yeah,
for real.
he's pretty cool. Yeah, so we're just starting to work together too on this and doing the edits and doing all of that. So I'm really excited about that as well. He's huge. So
He's like one of the nicest guys. I've known him for years. Anyone if you know the name and just Greg and Isnana, the Were Spider, that's his baby, his legacy series, and he's done so much more since that, and he's just becoming more and more of what he wants to become and just branching out. And this is, I believe, this was one of his goals. This picture here was one of his goals, to have that New York Comic Con picture where you're up on the panel and you're at the table and it has New York Comic Con behind you, and that's like an achievement unlocked on whatever video game you're playing. So that's awesome for him.
Oh, that's cool. I want to do that, San Diego, but calling it.
Oh, that's awesome. And then we have Dedrin here, who is, just bringing everyone together for whatever to do these incredible things in these spaces.
Yes, and I have to say that I'm just really honored that he picked my project to be the big launch of the comic book side of it. So that's huge for me. So I'm really grateful for him. And he's been supportive for years. So
Mhm.
he's
He
really great.
he's one of the most supportive and one of the
Everywhere.
nicest people possible, truthfully.
Yes. Yeah, he's in Nigeria right now.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure how long he's going
He's,
to be there. I don't, but I
I
know
don't
that
know, but he was at
he's,
that con, which
yeah.
one of my producers is there too. Um, I write I write for someone in Africa. Um, it's ghosting, so I can't really say exactly who it is, but um,
Let's go.
it's a really fun experience.
Yeah, he's awesome, and just going. And I know that was a big goal of his to go over to Africa,
Yeah.
and to do something incredible, and he's done it. So outstanding. So I'm so happy.
Yes.
Uh, for the entire team that you have going is great. And folks, as always, I will have a link for the Kickstarter in the episode description. I want you to go on. I want you to check it out. Everything that you've seen that I've shown you, I want you to go in there, check it out. Check out the tiers. The tiers are always incredible and very friendly. The tier I got was for a physical and a digital copy because I wanted a physical one, but the digital is easier for me to read because I can go on my tablet, pop it open. But certain books just have a thing for me where I want the physical. Not all books, just some of them, and this is one of the ones. So please go and you can hit that link, go check out the Kickstarter. If your pockets are a little light on the day that you're reading this, watching this, remember, when you pledge to the Kickstarter, it doesn't take the money out at that moment. It takes the money out on the very last day when it's funded. So you can go ahead and click on and not be wary. I know pockets can be light at times. You got groceries, you gotta buy new socks or whatever it is that you gotta go with. But that's the beautiful thing about Kickstarter is you can pledge and you can, you know, not have to worry about it on that day. And if you're able to get a little bit more and you want to pledge a little bit more, you can always go back in, manage it, and you can find another tier or even add-ons to what you like. That's the beautiful thing about it because this is like pre-ordering with a little extra because you're getting so much more into it and you're also helping to bring another incredible work to reality. And that's an awesome thing to do. And look at the team that's a part of this. Amazing. Another Kickstarter that I'm talking about that has like a majority of women as the creative team. This is what we're talking about. This is what we want to keep talking about, supporting and everything. So then put your money where your mouth is, right there. And if you can't, I understand, but support. Share it around, share it into the groups that you're in. I know you're all a part of a lot of groups on Facebook and even on Instagram or Twitter, X, Threads, TikTok. I don't know how many social media platforms are. There's so many of them I can't keep track. But this is one that I definitely like have a really fondness for just because of the murder mystery supernatural vibe to it. It just feels so cool to me. And I'm so excited for this to come out and to be able to read this on my couch underneath the covers on a Friday night after eating a bunch of pancakes. That's my thing. So with being a creative and the anxiety that some of you creatives go through with your projects and everything, what is something that you do for self-care that helps to keep you grounded, that helps to keep your mental health in a very positive space?
Well, I would say each morning I do make sure that I have my coffee and my meditation before I start work. Like I really make sure that that's a thing. Like I'm not available during that time.
Mhm.
Um, and then to extend that, I've kind of started to make myself take do the same thing on Sunday, but it's the majority of the day. So I suppose it'd be the whole day, but sometimes, things come up. But I basically make sure that I have like 4 to 5 hours to myself. And I think that is really, really important that you check out and you don't do anything. And for me, it maybe doesn't sound like a lot of time, but I tend to not take time off. I've had times where I'm just working 7 days a week for a month. And so it's just kind of like I have to make sure that I'm not doing that. And so I think it's really, really important to take care of yourself. Go on that walk, go into nature, take a bubble bath, do something that you love, go to the movies, go to a play, check out. It's really important.
That's yeah, that's very important. And a lot of people do quote unquote overdo it with work, but sometimes you have to do that in order to get to be where you want to be or what have you. But taking that Sunday and that 4 or 5 hours, that self-care Sunday, taking that 4 or 5 hours can make it may not seem like a lot like you were saying, but it can make all the difference after a week of everything being bombarded on you. That 4 or 5 hours can really save that energy that you need to replenish and do. Or actually, you can think about it, that's the way that you start your week out. I mean, depending on how you look at, if Sunday is your last day of your week or the beginning of your next week, however you want to look at it, that Sunday can be a best day. Sundays are days that I tend to like to take walks, and well, I try to do it every day, but I Sundays definitely in the morning. I'll get up early, I'll make my tea, and I'll go take a walk in the park near me. During the autumn is the best because I love the sound of crunching leaves. So it's very, very like I love that feel when I'm listening, when I have my earbuds. I love that feel listening. So I can definitely appreciate that 4 or 5 hours of just no, a lot of no. And I'm glad that you're taking those steps. That more and more people are taking steps like that because your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and we're seeing that so much more now. So I love knowing that people are doing that and what they do for themselves, and hopefully that will make somebody else go, you know what, I should do that. I should do that. Like on Sundays I'll take a walk and I'll also light an incense. I love incense. So Sundays there's one in particular I light on Sundays, and it just smells nice, lasts maybe about 10 minutes, but it's enough where it just go, yeah, okay, and you get ready for the
Right.
rest of the week and do it. So
Very nice.
yeah, it has to be there. There's a great shop I go to in New York. It's called the Fragrance Shop, and they have all these incense. They've got oils, burners, all types of stuff. You walk in and you're like, it's the most relaxing feeling possible. When you walk in, you go, oh my god, it just yeah, it's beautiful. So I love it. Matter of fact, I think I probably need to re up. I just need a whole bunch of them. Just give them all to me. So with self care and taking that time, what have you, 4 or 5 hours, just a great amount of time to do what you need to do. That sounds like a great time to start reading something. What are three comic books or graphic novels that you would recommend or suggest that really hit you, that are like your favorites?
I would just say going into like what I like favorite wise and probably totally ends up being what I like to write too.
Hmm.
Um, I love Paper Girls, Lock and Key. I really liked Naomi. I really like that. I was supposed to go in. I think I was up for possibly getting a meeting for the show. So I remember reading that and having a really good time just dialing into that particular comic and feeling like this is something that I would write. So I really love that. And Lock and Key is just really very much the world that I like to create and live in. It's going to be really similar to Poe, I would think. And uh tonally. And yeah, Paper Girls is like the adventure and the girls and the nostalgia that I like within stories.
Yeah, locking. I remember reading Lock and Key after years of somebody at a job I had telling me, "Oh man, you got to read Lock and Key, Lock and Key." And I didn't know about Comixology, so they would talk about it because I was still reading a lot of print stuff, and I was like, comics. I was like, "What's they like?" Oh, digital. I was like, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that.
Yeah, yeah, I
I'm
get
a
that.
grown man, not reading on a tablet. Now
Right,
that's
right,
all I
right.
read. And Lock and Key blew my mind. I was not expecting any of that.
Yeah.
And I haven't read the new stuff. I've only read the original series. I haven't read the couple of tie-ins that they did after that. But I was so knocked off my feet. I was like, "Oh my god, this is I." And the story, and it was just so out of nowhere. And it felt like that adventure, almost nostalgia, like you were saying, like back to the old '80s movies when you have the kids who would be adventuring in different worlds and
Mhm.
having to fight a monster.
Yep, I love
So
that kind of
yeah,
thing.
that feels so great. And Paper Girls, I need to finish that. I actually want to watch the first. Wanted to read it before I watched the one season on Prime. Only got one season, so unfortunate. Same with Naomi. Naomi was beautifully done. I felt, yeah, it should have, yeah, it. I don't understand why that. Nah,
It's, you never know why they take things off. A lot of times it's ratings, sometimes it's politics. I actually was in a meeting for Amazon, it was just a general meeting, but I talked about Paper Girls and it was
mhm.
still on. And I obviously was just like, oh, Paper Girls. And the executive loved it. Like he adored it. It was like he was fanboying about it. But, they just canceled it for whatever reason. You never know. Just never know.
Yeah, but
So
it was one
it's too bad.
I thought it was going to be like one of the biggest things because Paper Girls was one of those
He did
comics
too.
that
You
was
weren't
there.
there.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like he was like, because I think we were talking about the Wilds went off, and he was like,
hmm,
"Oh, I really like that show, but it was too niche and too small." And then, but Paper
yeah,
Girls is gonna be our big thing. He thought that. 2 weeks later, off.
yeah. Because I mean, it's such a huge book. Like when you hear about people talk about like people were in the
Yeah.
schools doing cartwheels and backflips when it was announced that they were giving a live action series. I was like, oh
That
wow,
too. I loved it. I loved it.
yeah. So I mean, I was so surprised by that, but I'm hoping that you know what you can never say never at certain times. Things come back, things what have you, you know. And it's also I'm hoping that they're just going to be hoping it opened up more doors for at least the actors that were on the show, and
Yeah.
that you know what I mean. So I have to look at it like that too, of like that sucks, but you know what, maybe that opens up another door for something else that'll be even bigger for you and whatever will happen. So you have to look at
Yeah,
it like
that's
that,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
Um,
True, true.
I'm trying to stay positive on it, you know, even though because I want to see people doing incredible things and things that make them happy and just make them even bigger and put them out there more. So hopefully,
That's true. I mean, sometimes those people you make a show, and lately they've been not even putting them out there. Like
yeah.
this, I think Spiderwick or something is like made done, and I don't think they're going to put it out. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, so that was I remember hearing about it years ago that they were going to do a series of it or something like something new, but I didn't think they had actually did it. Oh, I had
No,
no
they
idea.
did it. It's done. I don't
Oh,
know if they're going to put it out or not.
oh, that's that.
So
Yeah.
it's really crazy. I don't know what's going on.
That kind of reminds me of Batgirl. How that was all done, made everything, and then they were like, "Yeah, no,
Same thing.
we're not gonna put that out."
Yeah. I don't know.
All right,
Yeah,
I really wanted to see that one too. Yeah, it's a shame.
it's so
So
weird.
I don't it's not a realm that I'm all that familiar with, but just as a person who wants to who's sitting there who sees what does come out and what makes it and what they don't put out or what gets canceled, I go, I don't know what like it seems odd to me, but then I go, maybe there's something that I didn't know about whatever, maybe something
It's
backstage or
always that.
money or
It's
you know.
and the creators don't know
Yeah.
sometimes because it's like, or they get told. I mean, there's some great shows my friends have been writing on, or even I know, like maybe adjacently the creator, and then it's like they are shocked. They have no idea why they just pulled their thing, or they know maybe they told them, but it's
Hmm.
maybe not a good reason, or so we don't really know what goes on in these giant, ginormous corporations, why they're
Yeah.
choosing to
Uh,
shed things for tax breaks, or you just don't know,
yeah.
or whatever reason,
But it makes me think
politics.
of Robert Kirkman. When I went to New York Comic Con, he was doing the panel for Amazon, and I mean that was the first thing they put out there was Robert Kirkman and Invincible, and of course, excuse me, my goodness, I apologize to you and everyone listening with an earshot of that shotgun blast and how he was like, 20 years ago, I was just putting out a comic, and now it's one of it's in my top five of actually my top three of incredible comics, and the animated series is so unbelievable. But 20 years, he was like, all I wanted to do was put out a comic, and 20 years later, I have this animated series out that I wasn't planning on that at all. So I try to look at it like that, like what this person is putting out. It might take five, however many years, probably maybe a bit quicker now because everyone's looking for something to be a series or a movie or stuff like that on a streaming service or what have you, local platform. So I try to look at it like you're putting it out now, great, you know, whatever, but you don't know what's going to happen 5, 10, 15 years. Somebody could say, hey, I happen to be in a comic book shop. I picked this up and read it. So it always makes me think of he had no idea. He wasn't even looking for that. He was just there that whatever you're putting out there, it can all of a sudden be just a huge big thing and it can knock everyone off their feet. And there you are, still
Yeah. You just
dumbfounded, like I got the idea while I was just making hot pockets, like whatever, just some random thing that happened to you, and it becomes this big, beautiful thing that you're loving. The obviously the company that you're doing it for is loving it, the production, and all these fans in the audience, these hundreds of people are like, we love what you've done. So I always look at creators and I go, I want to see you up on stage like that in the next 5, 6 years doing your thing and still and being a guest. Like I'm as shocked as y'all are. I didn't think I was going to be here in 5 years. I used to be sitting in that seat. So I was trying to look at it like that. Now what y'all doing is
Yeah, I would
cool.
definitely be aghast.
Yes, awesome. So final thing we're going to talk about. Look, folks, you're never surprised by this question. It's in the title. It's in the name. So what is a restaurant that you want to that's a favorite of yours, and what's your favorite dish there?
I'm gonna go with Nighthawk Breakfast Bar in LA. It's in the Venice Marina del Rey area, my favorite part of town.
Right.
And I think one of their best dishes, I don't know the fancy name for it, but it's like their pancakes and chicken.
Ooh,
It's so good. Let's see if you can find it. Also, their
really?
French toast is really good, but I'm gonna go with the Scarole. I think it's there it is. Big Bird and Short Stack's not even a fancy name.
Okay, first
But
off, that name is incredible. First off,
it's
that
so
that
good.
name is just outstanding. Um, oh, drunken French toast, Rice crispy coated
Yeah.
brioche pear brandy. Okay, wow, this looks
I
like
need
a
to try
place
that
that
sandwich.
this is everything hash. Okay, tofu bacon. Interesting.
So yeah, I'm always in this area, but my friend is a foodie, and so I found out about it like 2 years ago, and or three. No, it was four because it was pre-pandemic. But she suggested we meet there one time, and yeah, I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's really
Wow.
good. I always get that. I need to try. I tried the French toast the first time, and then I tried that the second time, and
Hmm.
I just keep getting that.
The drunken French toast.
Yeah, I no, I keep getting the
Oh,
Big Bird
the
short stack.
big bird
Yeah,
sugar.
I had that the first time, the French toast,
And there's the sweet
but
potato
it's really
pancakes,
yeah.
cookie dough, butter, apple, cinnamon. Okay, this is even fair. Wow. Okay.
It's so good.
Highly upset at this whole menu right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. Chicken and biscuits is a winner. Just yeah, folks. This is why I have issues. This is see. I shouldn't be asking people about these restaurants. I really shouldn't. I'm going to blame Guy Fieri for my fascination with this. But when I see a menu like this and people tell me about these places all over, I understand why he has um, drive-ins, diners, and dives and goes all over the country going to these
Mhm.
restaurants. And a breakfast bar and being called Nighthawk, of course I'm going to go in, obviously.
Yeah, it's breakfast at night, basically, is the idea. So
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, and being in Jersey, where it's like the capital of diners,
Mhm.
I mean, this is right up my alley. This is, yeah. Um, yeah. I'm sad but happy that this exists. To be honest with you.
No, you just have to come.
Yeah, I and it's funny. I've never been the furthest west I've been is St. Louis. Yeah, St. Louis, the furthest
Mhm.
west I've been. Um, but now this whole menu, Big Bird. I mean, you can't. That name alone is worth it. How are you? How can I not be 45 and sit there and go? I'd like the Big Bird and short stack. and holding my knife and fork, very happy as this couple. How can I not be that happy?
That's that's the whole point.
Those are life goals right there, folks. This is what makes
Mhm.
me happy. This is it. So, folks, yes, if you are in the area or if you have some time built up and you need to take a trip somewhere, I say get your points and you go to Nighthawk Breakfast Bar. I mean, again, sit there and say, "Can I have the Big Bird and short stack?" And you won't get looked at funny. That's what I love about it too. It's awesome. Because if I went anywhere else, if I said that out loud and I wasn't watching Sesame Street, someone would look at me funny.
It's kind of scary though thinking about it like that. Like I'm getting you, Big Bird.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, Big Bird and short stack. Like I just the fact that they came up with that name is just cool to me, honestly. So yes, if you are in the area,
Definitely.
please go and check out the Nighthawk Breakfast Bar. Um, Allison said it's incredible. So you got, I'm trusting Allison about this food because why would she tell you about food she didn't like? Why? Exactly my point. Exactly. So, folks, that was our show. I want to thank Allison Chaney for being on. Remember, go in the episode description and click on the Kickstarter link for the Raven code. There are tiers for everything, whether you just want to do digital, whether you want to do the print, whether you want to do both. There's a tier for everyone, and if you don't see a tier that's for you, you can actually do add-ons so you can create your own tier so you can get what you want. But most importantly, you want a great story. You want something that's a mystery. You're looking for horror. You're looking for supernatural. You're looking for something that's laden with Poe, Edgar Allan Poe, the Raven Code, right there. An incredible team, and it's from Subsume, which you know is quality, and you know this is a big foray for them, and it's outstanding. It's amazing, and I'm very excited for everything that's been going on. So, Allison, do you have any final words for the folks?
Just thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy the comic. And I will just simply say that we will be doing another volume after this. So that's what we're working toward. And we're going to hopefully start that process early next year. So please support us. This is not just a one-off. We're really, really excited about this. And it's been a long time coming. Thanks so
Yes,
much.
exactly. This is a great story. Go, please pledge. Check this out. You're going to get something amazing, and you're going to get a volume two. The story will continue, and that's awesome. But folks, enjoy the rest of your day. Drink water, please. Stay hydrated. You know what I mean. Do the best you can with what you got, because in the end, that is all that you get. And I will see you next week. You all have a good day. Thank you, or night, whatever time you're watching or listening to this. Bye.